everyone and welcome to the Young and the Restless official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Young and the Restless recap for Friday, March 13th reveals that Patty Williams will look forward to some passion with Jack Abbott after luring him into her trap. On the yacht, Patty will return from giving Jack a tour and gush about the time they have together. Jack will ultimately learn that a man brought Patty over on a dinghy and claimed he'd be back for her in a couple days. Since there was no mention of arrangements for Jack's return, he'll worry he's on a death ship and suggest there's no guarantee anyone will come back for Patty either. Of course, Patty will be unbothered and act like the risk if just part of her road to redemption. Patty will eventually claim it's hot in there and start stripping down. As for Jack, Patty will coax him into taking his tie off and will help unbutton his shirt once she guides him to the bed. Jack will be sluggish and dizzy, so it'll be obvious that Patty has drugged him. When Jack wonders if Patty put something in his scotch, she'll play innocent and remind Jack that she was his tester. Patty will want to surrender to some passion together and will act like they owe it to themselves to enjoy this reconnection. Jack will protest that he's married, but Patty will insist Diane Jenkins Abbott never has to know. Since Jack will be totally out of it due to whatever drug is in his system, he'll kiss Patty back and roll on top of her. Next on Friday's Y&R episode, Diane, Kyle Abbott and Billy Abbott will make it to the marina where Billy will pay someone in management $10 grand to spill what he knows. Billy will report back to Kyle and Diane with news about someone renting a luxury yacht for 2 days and will admit a charming woman talked to the office manager. When Billy reveals Patty Williams is out there with Jack, Diane and Kyle will wonder how that's even possible since she was in a psychiatric facility the last time they heard anything about her. Billy, Kyle and Diane will struggle to make sense of all this since Victor Newman hates Patty, but they'll know there must be a scheme in motion. Since they'll be taking a boat out to the yacht, Billy will hope Diane's not seasick and warn that it's going to be a bumpy ride. Back in Genoa City, Victor will come home to a livid Nikki Newman. After Nikki demands answers, Victor will admit he's got Jack on ice and clearly won't be sorry about it. Despite Nikki's complaints, Victor will insist Jack's fine and point out that he's not alone. Nikki will grill Victor about who's with Jack, so he'll imply that she's jealous and stomp off. In Phyllis Summers' office, Kane Ashby will show up looking for her and decide to write a letter when she's not there. After Kane grovels in that letter, he'll wad it up and decide it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. Kane will also make a video for Lily Winters to apologize for what she's been through and acknowledge that he needs to stay away from her to ensure her happiness. Although Kane won't know when Lily will finally get a chance to watch that video, he'll send it to her over the phone anyway. Kane will shout in frustration before he finally decides to head out. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Lily will make it home in the not too distant future, so Billy will be able to apologize in person soon. The restless winds of uncertainty sweep across the open water as the story unfolds aboard a lonely yacht drifting far from shore. Inside the quiet vessel, Patty Williams returns after giving Jack Abbott a cheerful tour of the boat, her excitement bubbling over as if this strange, isolated adventure were the most wonderful reunion fate could have arranged. She gushes about the precious time they now have together, her voice bright with anticipation while the vast ocean stretches endlessly around them. But beneath the surface of her enthusiasm lies something unsettling, a tension that lingers in the air like the calm before a storm. Jack listens carefully, his instincts slowly awakening as he pieces together the circumstances that brought him here. It soon becomes clear that Patty arrived by way of a dinghy, ferried over by a man who promised he would return for her in a couple of days. The problem, however, is that no such arrangements were mentioned for Jack's return, and the realization begins to creep into his mind like a chilling shadow. Jack's concern grows heavier with each passing moment as he voices the terrifying possibility that this yacht might be nothing more than a floating prison, a death ship as he grimly suggests. He points out the obvious danger in Patty's plan, reminding her that there is absolutely no guarantee the mysterious man will return for her either. But Patty remains strangely unfazed by the thought, brushing aside the risk as though it were nothing more than a minor obstacle on her deeply personal journey toward redemption. In her mind, the danger only adds intensity to the experience she believes will change everything between them. Then, with a sudden shift in mood, Patty casually claims that the room feels too hot and begins to remove her clothing with an almost theatrical calm. The moment grows increasingly uncomfortable as she encourages Jack to loosen up as well, coaxing him to remove his tie while her hands gently guide him toward the bed. Slowly, deliberately, she helps unbutton his shirt, her eyes filled with a strange mixture of longing, hope, and obsession. Yet something is clearly wrong. Jack's movements become sluggish, his thoughts foggy and unsteady as dizziness begins to take hold of him. The truth dawns on him in a troubling flash of clarity, and he asks Patty if she slipped something into his scotch. Patty responds with wide-eyed innocence, reminding him that she was the one who tasted the drink first, as though that alone proves her sincerity. But the damage is already done. The drug coursing through Jack's system dulls his judgment, leaving him vulnerable in a situation he would never willingly choose. Patty insists that they should surrender to passion together, arguing that after everything they've endured, they owe themselves the chance to enjoy this unexpected reconnection. Jack struggles to protest, reminding her that he is a married man now bound to Diane Jenkins Abbott. Patty dismisses the concern with chilling ease, insisting that Diane never has to know about what happens here. Overcome by the effects of the drug, Jack's resistance weakens, and in a hazy moment of disorientation, he returns Patty's kiss and rolls on top of her, caught in a moment he cannot fully control. Far away from the dangerous stillness of that yacht, the tension on land grows just as intense. At the marina, Diane Jenkins Abbott, Kyle Abbott, and Billy Abbott arrive with urgency written across their faces. The mystery surrounding Jack's disappearance hangs over them like a dark cloud, and Billy quickly takes matters into his own hands. Determined to uncover the truth, he slips $10,000 to someone in marina management, hoping money will loosen the man's tongue. Soon enough, Billy returns with valuable information, news that someone recently rented a luxury yacht for 2 days. The office manager described the person who handled the arrangements as a charming woman, a detail that immediately raises suspicion. When Billy finally reveals the name tied to the rental, the shock ripples through the group like an electric jolt. The woman out there with Jack is none other than Patty Williams. The revelation leaves Diane and Kyle completely stunned. The last time anyone had heard about Patty, she was confined to a psychiatric facility, far removed from the chaos she once caused in their lives. Now somehow she has reappeared in the most unexpected and dangerous way possible. Billy, Kyle, and Diane struggle to piece together how any of this could have happened, especially considering that Victor Newman despises Patty with a fiery intensity. The pieces don't quite fit, yet the group knows there must be some elaborate scheme unfolding behind the scenes. With no time to waste, they prepare to head out to sea in pursuit of the yacht. Billy warns Diane that the ride won't be easy, joking grimly that she'd better not get seasick because the waters ahead promise a rough and bumpy journey. As the boat pulls away from the dock, determination fills the air. They are racing against time to save Jack before whatever trap Patty has set spirals completely out of control. Back in Genoa City, another storm of confrontation is brewing inside the Newman household. Nikki Newman greets Victor with blazing fury the moment he walks through the door. Her patience has run out and she demands the truth about what he's been up to. Victor doesn't bother hiding it. With unsettling calm, he admits that he has Jack on ice, a phrase that only deepens Nikki's outrage. Despite her furious protests, Victor insists that Jack is perfectly fine and reminds her that Jack isn't alone. Nikki presses harder, desperate to know exactly who is with him. Victor, however, refuses to offer a straight answer, instead hinting with a sly implication that Nikki might simply be jealous. The comment pushes the argument to its breaking point, and Victor storms away, leaving Nikki standing there in a swirl of anger, worry, and helpless frustration. Elsewhere in the city, the emotional turmoil continues to ripple through the lives of others. Inside Phyllis Summers' office, Kane Ashby arrives, hoping to find her, but the room is empty when he steps inside. The silence gives him time to think, and with heavy regret weighing on his heart, he decides to write a letter. In it, he pours out his apologies, humbling himself in words that reveal how deeply he wishes he could fix the past. Yet the moment the letter is finished, doubt overtakes him. Cain realizes that no amount of groveling on paper can truly change what has already happened, and with a sigh of resignation, he crumples the letter into a ball. Still unwilling to leave things unsaid, Cain turns to another way of reaching the woman he still cares about. He records a heartfelt video message for Lily Winters, speaking directly from the depths of his regret. In the video, he apologizes sincerely for everything she has endured, acknowledging that his presence in her life may only cause more pain. With quiet sadness, he admits that the best thing he can do for her happiness is to stay away. Cain knows he has no idea when Lily might finally watch the message, but he sends it to her phone anyway, hoping his words might someday bring her some measure of closure. Afterward, frustration boils over inside him, and he shouts into the empty room before finally deciding it's time to leave. As these emotional currents collide across Genoa City and far beyond its shores, the future remains uncertain for everyone involved. The ocean holds Jack's fate in its vast, unpredictable depths, while his loved ones race desperately to reach him in time. Meanwhile, unresolved heartbreak continues to echo through the lives of Cain and Lily, reminding everyone that even far from the sea, emotional storms can be just as powerful as the waves. And soon enough, when Lily finally returns home, Billy Abbott will have the chance to face her directly and offer the apology that has long been waiting between them. In a world where love, betrayal, and redemption constantly collide, every decision now carries consequences that could change their lives forever. Far out on the restless sea, the yacht drifts quietly beneath a darkening sky, carrying with it a moment that feels both intimate and deeply unsettling. Inside the cabin, the air is thick with tension as Jack Abbott struggles against the fog, clouding his mind. The drug in his system dulls his instincts and weakens his resistance, leaving him trapped in a situation that feels increasingly surreal. Patty Williams, however, sees the moment very differently. To her, this isolated world floating on the ocean represents a second chance, an opportunity to reclaim something she believes destiny once stole from her. As the waves rock the yacht gently back and forth, Patty leans into the fantasy she has carefully constructed, convinced that this stolen moment with Jack will somehow bring her the redemption she has long been chasing. In her mind, the outside world has disappeared, leaving only the two of them and the fragile illusion of rekindled passion. Yet beyond the walls of that cabin, the reality of the situation continues to close in. Back on the water, the boat carrying Diane Jenkins Abbott, Kyle Abbott, and Billy Abbott cuts through the waves with urgency. The sky above them grows darker as the wind picks up, adding an edge of danger to their already desperate mission. None of them can fully understand how Patty managed to reappear after vanishing into psychiatric care, but the one thing they know for certain is that Jack could be in serious trouble. Diane's worry grows heavier with every mile they travel, her thoughts racing through all the terrible possibilities of what Patty might do. Billy keeps his focus on the horizon, determined to reach the yacht as quickly as possible, even as he warns that the ride ahead will only get rougher. Kyle watches the distant waters in tense silence, hoping they are not already too late to stop whatever twisted plan Patty has put into motion. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, the emotional fallout continues to ripple through the lives of those connected to the unfolding drama. Inside the Newman residence, Nikki Newman stands fuming after her explosive confrontation with Victor Newman. Victor's cold admission that he has Jack on ice echoes in her mind, filling her with both anger and deep concern. Nikki cannot shake the feeling that Victor is playing one of his dangerous games again, manipulating events from the shadows while others suffer the consequences. The vague hint he dropped about Jack not being alone only deepens her unease, leaving her desperate for answers that Victor refuses to provide. As the tension lingers in the quiet halls of the Newman home, Nikki realizes that whatever Victor has set in motion may already be spiraling beyond anyone's control, and somewhere out there on the open sea, Jack's fate may be hanging by the thinnest thread. Across town, another emotional battle quietly unfolds within the empty office of Phyllis Summers. Cain Ashby lingers there for a moment longer, the silence pressing down on him as he wrestles with his regret. The crumpled letter lying nearby is a symbol of everything he wishes he could say, but fears will never truly make a difference. Still, the video message he recorded for Lily Winters now exists out in the world, carrying his apology and his painful acceptance that the best thing he can offer her might be distance. Kane knows he has hurt Lily deeply, and the weight of that knowledge refuses to leave him. When frustration finally bursts out of him in a raw shout, it is less about anger and more about the heartbreak of knowing some mistakes cannot be undone. Eventually, he gathers himself and walks away, uncertain of what the future holds, but aware that this chapter of his life may truly be over. As the night grows deeper and the story stretches across both land and sea, the threads of fate begin drawing closer together. On the yacht, Patty's carefully orchestrated fantasy teeters on the edge of collapse, while Jack's loved ones race through the dark waters, determined to reach him before it's too late. In Genoa City, secrets, regrets, and simmering rivalries continue to shape the choices of everyone involved. And somewhere in the near future, when Lily Winters finally returns home, another long-awaited confrontation will take place. Billy Abbott will soon have the chance to face Lily in person and offer the apology that words on a screen could never fully deliver. Until then, the storm surrounding these lives continues to build, promising that the next chapter of this unfolding drama will bring even greater consequences for everyone caught within it.